government has said it will run into about ₦1 trillion. Now, I'd like you to, I played this for you the last time. Yes. This is what the Minister of State for Labour said, Mr. Festus Keyamo. Maybe we can also remind ourselves of what he said, perhaps that the federal government does not have money. I don't know if that goes down well with you and how you're receiving that. How does that come to you?
For me, it is very sad. You see, if you have a will, you can get whatever you want. 30 years ago, nobody believed that you have TV station running for 24 hours. 30 years ago, you didn't believe you have a TV station 40 years ago that will run without stop. CNN, that will, without stop. 30 years ago, nobody believed that person will pick a phone in Nigeria and call somebody in the US. These were done by the academics. And two, issue of financing. If you have a will and you believe education is important, the government will raise any amount to the look, there's a government that are giving 400 billion naira into that money. So is it trader money, whatever they call it? That is more than what we are asking for. This is a government that I believe what we are trying, they said they need 200 billion to feed school children, to feeding. I don't know who is being fed, I've not seen. But they release 200 billion. That is more than what we are asking for the revitalization fund. So it's not about, it's just people, no.
So you don't think that the government is sincere?
It's not.
You think the money is there?
Let me put it straight. What we have told you is in the disagreement, and it has been there over a long time. Give appropriate budget allocation to your educational system. Forget about the quantum time. Give a percentage. In Ghana, they give no less than 16%. In South Africa, they give no less than 60%. Check all value for Nigeria have the lowest, 5.3. And we say give 50%. As others are doing, give priority to education. And they will say they don't have money. Let's forget about quantum. I look at the reality that education is one thing you are going to look at that will change your country. But they are not interested. That is the problem. It's not about the quantum. As I speak to you, if you watch out in about 1 month, since July, if you found out our exchange rate went high, you are aware. You know why? It's when Nigerian people are paying school fees in foreign countries. It's the massive amount of foreign countries that they needed to pay school fees outside the country that you had that massive exchange rate increase. And now it's coming down because they have paid. You are seeing the graduating now. You are seeing their children graduating. So that is it. So it's not only the university that is suffering. The whole country is suffering because of what we are doing. If our system is working like Ghana, like South Africa, like Rwanda, we will not be hustling for exchange rate currency to pay school fees outside the country. That's what that is priority.
Has there been any meeting, any interface between the Minister of Education and ASUU?
We've had informal interface. Informal.
There's nothing formal.
There's not formal.
Have you met the Minister of Education physically?
Yes.
Since then?
Yeah, but it's formal. But what we are expecting is tomorrow to be formal. But this issue we're talking about, in 1992, during Babangida, we had an agreement like this. And the government said they don't have fund. ASUU tell us how we can raise the fund. And we said, fine. We met and came out with this third fund. And it's easy. Charge the profit of companies operating in Nigeria 2% of their profit. 2%. It came from us. 2% of their profit is to raise the money to fund the university at that time, to increase the funding in university. And the Babangida accepted that. So go and draft the decree. And we did. And that's the origin today of that.
Do you have a possibility to raise more funds?
On this one again, look, in 2019, the Federal Ministry of Education and Federal Ministry of Finance came out with a conference, on a conference on how to raise funds for the university. And we also submitted a paper that we have done before on how to raise funds. And we are accepted. And that document is still there with the Minister of Education. It's there with the Minister of Finance. But now she's implementing it and forgot education. Increase it. Let me finish. Now they are going to start taxing, what do you call it? Taxing this phone call, what the communication, this new tax they're talking about. It's part of our proposal. They should use that account to fund education. Go and check, it's there. But now they are trying to implement it. But they don't think of the author. People who generated that thing, they forgot them. And what's supposed to use for, they forgot it.
I mean, are you...
And these are the things we are talking about. These are how you can fund education.
Are you worried about the dovetailing effect? Because one of the things that the minister raised was that if ASUU raises this, SANU will raise it, NASU will raise it, all other the polytechnic lecturers, all other bodies also will raise it and threaten government. Do you think that is sustainable? That was the question that you raised.
Let me put it this way. Check all over the world. Check all over the world. The only job that is competitive worldwide, you need people from all over the world to do, is lecturing, academics. Two, how much are they paying in such established at NPC? So established at Central Bank, NIFDA. How much are they paying lecturers? How much are they paying the staff? When they were increasing those salaries, did they ever thought that there are other MDAs that will come to look for increment? So when you are looking at something, look, you don't need to bulk things together. Nigerian academics are leaving this country. You are aware of that. Doctors are leaving. Because it's a special area. You want to develop your system. And when you are talking about increment of salary, you don't look at others. Look at what is the world average. What is the salary regime for a lecturer in Africa? These are what you look at.
Would you suggest that maybe the federal government divests its ownership of some of these universities? Maybe to private bodies or to other, because the question is whether or not federal government has been able to effectively run these universities. If not, maybe there should be a new thinking about the ownership of these institutions.
No. This our money is Nigerians' money. This money we're talking about is not the president's money. It's not the senator's money. It's Nigerians' money. And every Nigerian child have a right to education.
But do you think that the private institutions or private universities are better run than the public universities?
Look, let me tell you, and you can check. Go and check the private universities and compare them to UI, BUK. Go and check them. Let me give you an example. Today, when we were in school and we have good private universities, we're well funded. When things were working well, even in the primary secondary schools, JAM never gave a cutoff point of less than 180, 200. Today, they're taking 120. Because the private people have bastardized the secondary primary school. So that people cannot pass again to enter university. You now take person who failed JAM and admit in private universities. And these people who fail, who score 120, 130 in private university, they are the one coming out with first class. Where's the problem? Cash and carry. You are looking for market. And the best way to market your university is to produce first class. But in the government universities, the standard are adhered to.
Let me ask about the eyepiece.
Yes.
And in 2014, there is a document that has surfaced now, a letter from the president of ASUU at the time, addressed to the president of ASUU, signed by the Accountant General of the Federation at the time, saying that eyepiece should be integrated. Where did things go wrong? From 2014, that's the letter right there on the screen.
No, if you read it very well, that is not what it says. Where it says that eyepiece cannot take care of university, read it fully, you see it. The eyepiece cannot accommodate university, and that there should be a tripartite party made up of government, the unions, and one agency there to work out a model, a solution that can accommodate university. Read the last paragraph.
The second to that. It said one of the joint decision reached is the need to set up a tripartite committee of the labor unions in the university, ASUU, NASU, SANU, and NAT, the representatives of the pro-chancellors and federal government, to develop alternative solutions that will achieve the noble objectives of eyepiece and at the same time accommodate the peculiarities of the Nigerian universities.
That was 1914, 2014. That was the origin. When they came with this eyepiece, we told them it cannot accommodate university. And that time, the Accountant General then, and the person in charge of eyepiece, when we met and finished discussing, and when they found out the weakness in eyepiece, in terms of university, they agreed we should have a different solution. And they say, each union bring 3 nominees. Government will bring their own, and then we'll develop alternative that can take care of the universities. In 2014, we sent our name. You can see them there. A.B. Bafa, Abdul, and Gungula. From that time to 2017, they never returned to us. They didn't do it. Just when that lady retired.
But UTAS, as far as universities lecturers are concerned, is ready. And
it's ready. And
UTAS is, of course, the university lecturers developed
it, and it's the best. My happiness today about this our strike, that for the first time they have tested eyepiece. For the first time, it came in 2006. It was never tested. were using it. You know why? Because the minister then of finance brought it, who came from World Bank, brought it and said you must use it, untested. You know that minister of finance, untested, until the committee set up, chaired by the head chief of staff. We all agreed that we should set the 3 to test and take the best one for universities. The 3 was tested. They are afraid to release the result now. But I'm happy that the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy have been able to come out to say that there were errors
in the
and I commend him for that. And that there are errors in IPs, multiple errors. And we have.
But what's the percentage of tests of UTAS?
We have done that, yours? And from what, let them release the result. It will tell us. UTAS came distant first.
In all of the payment platforms?
Out of the 3.
So NASU can use that platform? Can SANU use it?
University. Let me also tell you that we are SANU, NASU, we don't have problem again. We are in unity now that we
you understand that there is a faction of the university lecturers who are insisting.
We don't have any faction. We don't.
They're already talking that they want to go back to the classroom.
You see, whoever is that place doing that, they are trying to use them against us. You see, for you to have a union in a country like this that can come to you and speak, it has to be registered.
We are tired. We want the students to go back to the classrooms. We want our education sector to get back on its feet. What must be done now?
1, the issue of IPs and UTAS have to put to rest because the tests have been done. As I agree with the Chief of Staff, UTAS will be implemented, should be implemented to cover the university. 2, you see, if this government is serious, this strike will not last 1 or 2 weeks. If they have come to them, if you recall, the federal government was going to go on strike in November. We didn't start it because NIREC came in and intervened. NIREC, and we considered to them. They met with the president. He set up a committee headed by Chief of Staff that should resolve this thing quickly. And the world saw it in the press. They did nothing. The president set up this Muzali committee. We met with them, finished, nothing. They didn't come back. They set up this Nimibris committee. It's now more than 3 months. 2 months we finished negotiating with them. They didn't come back. President directed the Minister of Education, finish within 2 weeks. 2 weeks has passed. They didn't come back. So we are not. Let me tell you what they are doing. We feel sad because what they are going to do now, if we resume tomorrow, in the next 4 years, I cannot go on leave. You know why? I'm going to cover the backlog of work that I should have done while on strike. If you look at the past 15 years, I've not ever gone on leave. You can check in my university. For those times we are on strike, when we come back, what will do the backlog?